Lego Spongebob just came back after 20 years, and Lego did not disappoint. From all the friends SpongeBob would ever need,
this is Penny and Chip, and say hello to Used Napkin,
to Squidward going absolutely insane on his day off.
Wait till Mr. Krabs finds out you're on toilet.
These are 26 small details you missed in Lego Spongebob. Starting with Doodlebob, who is unfortunately a brick-built figure instead of a minifigure. We all know his origin story. A giant artist on the surface drops his magic pencil into the ocean, so SpongeBob draws a stick figure of himself and accidentally makes one of the scariest and also funniest characters ever. He's loved by everyone, and Lego used bucket handles for his hands so he could actually hold the giant magic pencil. If he was a regular minifig, he wouldn't be able to do this, so maybe him being brick-built isn't so bad. But inside the pineapple's living room are Penny, Chip, and Used Napkin. In Season 3's I Had an Accident, SpongeBob breaks his butt sandboarding and refuses to leave the house, introducing these three objects as his new best friends.
this is Penny and Chip, and say hello to Used Napkin.
The only one that really looks accurate in Lego is Penny, but the Used Napkin is a body piece from the Dreams theme, making it the first SpongeBob Easter egg made with a piece from a different theme. Staying in the living room, open the back of the TV, and inside are two stacks of studs representing Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy. They're SpongeBob and Patrick's favorite TV superheroes, even though they're super old and are way past their prime. Lego didn't include them as actual minifigures, but they're vital to the show, so they opted for an Easter egg instead. There's also a portrait of Gary hanging on SpongeBob's wall. It's a brand new tile that could have easily been left out, especially because finding other use cases outside of this set is gonna be pretty difficult. But regardless, let's head outside the pineapple, because something is eating it. Stuck onto the side of the house are two little nematode pieces and a straw. And if you've seen Home Sweet Pineapple from Season 1, you already know exactly what that means. A swarm of nematodes show up and drink SpongeBob's entire house dry. He loses his home, all his furniture, and even Gary's food bowl in the blink of an eye. It's an iconic episode, so Lego honored it in the simplest way possible, and it's not even the only reference to the episode. Pick the pineapple up and flip it over, and there's a single orange stud attached to the bottom of it. That's the seed. At the end of the episode, after SpongeBob lost the house, he and Patrick dig around in the dirt and find the original pineapple seed. They plant it, and a brand new house grows straight out of the ground. So Lego referenced the death of the pineapple and when it came back, and both of them were pretty subtle. But let's go next door, because Squidward's house has more references than SpongeBob's and Patrick's put together. On the first floor, there's a music stand with sheet music on it, and these aren't random notes. It's the last few bars of the SpongeBob theme song. And directly next to the music is a shelf built to hold Squidward's clarinet. Is Lego trying to tell us that Squidward's been playing the intro the entire time? There's no way. He has no artistic skill. And speaking of, hanging on the wall behind the music is bold and brash. If you somehow don't know this one, it's Squidward's self-portrait from the episode Artist Unknown, where he teaches an art class and SpongeBob is his one and only student. In the episode, a world-famous art collector named Monty P. Moneybags comes in looking for pieces for his new museum. So Squidward holds up the painting and makes a moment we never forgot.
How about this one? I call it bold and brash.
But Mr. Moneybags isn't having it.
More like belongs in the trash.
So even though this painting isn't actually in Squidward's house, I think we can all agree it belongs here. But go up to the third floor and the entire level is a bathroom, which sounds like a waste until you see the shower curtain. There's a silhouette on it, the one from Season 2's Squid's Day Off, where Mr. Krabs ends up in the hospital and leaves Squidward in charge of the Krusty Krab. Squidward immediately ditches work to enjoy his day off, then spends the whole episode convincing himself that SpongeBob is stalking him. While he's taking a shower, he sees a shape through the curtain thinking it's him, but it's actually just his toilet.
I got you now. Wait till Mr. Krabs finds out you're a toilet.
Lego built that toilet too, so you can set up the exact shot. But then you get to the roof, where Squidward's tanning setup is. This is from Season 2's Something Smells, where SpongeBob eats a disgusting sundae and then can't understand why everybody is running away from him. Instead of considering his breath, he decides he must be ugly. So Patrick convinces him to tell the world, and Squidward just so happened to be tanning at the exact same time.
I am ugly and I'm proud! I'm ugly and I'm proud!
Is that what he calls it?
But this brings us to the last house on Conch Street, and Patrick's rock only has one thing going on outside. There's a weather vane sticking out on top, and it's a minifigure trident. But before anyone says it, no, it's not Neptune's trident. It's the same generic one that's been floating around Lego for years, including the hands of the Ocean King from CMF Series 7. So I get why people think this is Neptune's trident. It doesn't look too accurate compared to Patrick's actual weather vane, but going inside is where things get good. Open up the rock and the entire interior is complete with sand furniture and his TV playing static. This is from Season 4's Bummer Vacation, where Mr. Krabs is legally forced to give SpongeBob time off, and he completely unravels within a day. He goes fully insane, kidnaps Patrick, locks him inside his own rock, and turns up to work wearing a Patrick costume. When Mr. Krabs asks where the real one is, we cut to the funniest thing ever.
Oh, I told him to stay home and watch television.
So this isn't just a joke about Patrick being dumb. It's a very specific reference, but there's more to the rock than just references. It's functional too. There are two studs inside of it, which you can attach Patrick to and close the rock with him inside, just like he does in the show. Patrick barely has any furniture in the show because he needs the room to do this to sleep. The design was practically begging Lego to bake this play feature into their set. However, this set doesn't just have houses. Let's head out onto the street. The first side build out here is the bubble stand, which is pulled from the second SpongeBob episode ever. If you've never seen it, SpongeBob spends the entire episode running a stand where he charges people 25 cents to blow a bubble. Squidward calls it the stupidest thing ever and refuses to participate. Then, of course, he takes a lesson and blows the single greatest bubble in Bikini Bottom history. But there's one piece on this stand that kind of ruins it. Everything looks great until you see the nickel. SpongeBob charges 25 cents, so somebody is blatantly scamming our boy. And it wasn't Squidward. He paid him in full in the episode. I don't know if this is on purpose or what, but regardless, another thing on the street is the boatmobile, and the main body of it is actually older than the show itself. It's the classic Lego boat hull that's been around since the original Pirates line in the 80s. Lego dropped it into a SpongeBob set in 2026 and dressed it up as a cartoon car. That alone is pretty insane, but they went further. The wheels are deliberately offset, so the front of the boat tilts upward because that's the exact angle it sits at in the show. That boat piece is ancient, but the minifigures are the complete opposite. Everything about them is brand new, and Patrick is the one to look at. Obviously, he got a much needed refresh compared to his older versions, but Lego paid attention to a detail I never even noticed in the show. In the very beginning, his eyebrows were shaped like M's, and 2 years later, they got changed to a Z shape, and haven't changed since. Lego went with the original M shape with this minifigure, which was only a thing in Season 1, by the way, so it's kind of a crazy pull. But Squidward's head is where things get weird. There's a very tiny hole on top that quite literally serves no purpose. His two accessories are a clarinet and a tanning mirror, neither of which mount to his head. But this isn't something like a mold mark. It's clearly intentional, so why is it here? Well, people are speculating that Lego has a Krusty Krab set planned, and this hole is for his hat that he wears at work. The set hasn't been announced or even leaked yet, but Lego made a hat with a similar connection point for the Steamboat Willie set, and it just so happens to fit into this hole. It's very much hidden in plain sight, and speaking of which, the instruction booklet has its own little Easter eggs. If you built the Lion Knight's castle, you probably remember seeing these little blurbs throughout the entire build, and LEGO did the same thing for Spongebob. When you reach the page where you build Doodlebob, LEGO has his catchphrase printed right next to him. This is something everyone should understand, so LEGO didn't bother explaining it. They just dropped his gibberish and knew we'd all get it. But another one comes when you build Gary's food bowl. This blurb reads a very famous line.
Gary! You are gonna finish your dessert, and you are gonna like it!
The funniest part is Gary had nothing to do with this scene. This was the episode where Squidward thought SpongeBob ate a pie bomb, so he spent his last day with him and got super mad when he didn't explode. But another line in the instructions is jellyfishing, 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 and Gary just hitting his one and only emote. So even though they did his minifigure pretty dirty, Gary did get some love in the instructions. However, the best line is attached to Squidward's living room. There's a sea anemone sitting in a vase in there, and it's built out of a minifigure crown recolored to magenta. LEGO was apparently proud of this, because the blurb on the page is basically just defending the decision. They also tell us don't forget to water it, which is the biggest dad joke ever, because obviously they live underwater. Now, there's one more page worth talking about, and it's the very first one. The introduction to this set celebrates a 20th anniversary, which sounds like it should be about the show itself, but it isn't. SpongeBob started in 1999, so that math obviously doesn't work. The anniversary LEGO is marking is 2006, the year the original LEGO SpongeBob theme launched, and they show the set that started it all. This is pretty bold too, because that original theme really wasn't the best. It ran from 2006 to 2012, getting 14 sets in total, some of which were rough. Take the Chum Bucket, for example. This is Plankton's restaurant, one of the most important locations in the show, and the minifigure lineup is SpongeBob, a robot SpongeBob, and a robot customer. It's based on the episode where Mr. Krabs gambles away SpongeBob's contract, but Plankton is only represented by this singular piece with printing on it. They do have you put him on a Krabby Patty robot, but without it, he's literally just one piece. It's not like his other minifigs were any good, but getting this in a set based on his restaurant is genuinely crazy. That wasn't the only problem with this set either. LEGO couldn't even agree on what to name it. Their Shop at Home service listed it as Chum Bucket, while the North American packaging said The Chum Bucket. This has caused all sorts of confusion, to the point where the main LEGO databases can't even agree on the name. However, it does have the The on Bricklink, which is run by LEGO, so I guess that's its official name. Regardless, LEGO also released the Mrs. Puff boating school set that same year, and the box art has a mistake. There's a lighthouse in the model, and on the box, the actual light is sitting in the wrong position. The instructions inside are correct. They tell you to shift the fixture back one stud, but the box has it wrong. Things like this happen a lot, since LEGO uses 3D renders for their box art and not actual pictures of the set. The biggest issue, though, was that the sets kind of just sucked in general. Even the Krusty Krab, arguably the most iconic location in the show, doesn't look that good, and LEGO made it twice. Once in 2006 with 293 pieces, which was the smallest set in the wave, by the way, and again in 2009, which was somehow worse. It had 209 pieces with no interior, just a safe and some glasses inside, and they completely dropped Squidward's minifigure. Although this one does seem to be based on the movie from 2004, considering the paddy wagon, but that's not an excuse to make the Krusty Krab worse. I mean, it had a whole underground lair in this movie. Regardless, fans have been trying to get a new one ever since through LEGO Ideas. Multiple different ones have hit 10,000 supporters since 2020, but they all got rejected, either because LEGO didn't have the license or because they knew they'd be making their own sometime soon. That hole in Squidward's head really does look promising. But which detail in this video surprised you the most? Be sure to let me know down in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe.